Going on, Falcon fan? This boy Rakundo come back at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about the Roquan Smith rumor. We're going to talk about the depth chart that the Falcon released, and then we're going to talk about training camp day 11 and how the guys are continuing to progress towards the first game of the preseason. So, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here to talk about. Then please share my video out through the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, like I said, the rumor that Roquan Smith actually want to be traded because of the contract negotiations that fell through with the Chicago Bears. Of course, the Atlanta Falcons were linked to Roquan Smith. Of course, he's a Georgia boy. That'd be like a homecoming for him. And also, he's an outstanding inside linebacker. We know the Chicago Bears have a great tradition of having great inside linebackers. So, Roquan Smith is just one of those guys. One interesting thing, Ryan Pace, the guy that actually drafted Roquan Smith, is part of the Falcons front office staff now. So that's that connection with Roquan Smith. To think about it, I just think it's just because he's from Georgia. Um, and they want to tie him to Atlanta. Of course, Cordell Patterson changed his his photo on Twitter to Roquan Smith because that's his buddy. He played with him while he was in Chicago. So um, just tying Roquan Smith to Atlanta. Of course, if we was to trade for him, of course we would have to pay him. It'd be similar to the contract what Deion Jones cap hit is right now. If you go look at the salary cap, about $20 million a year, that would be something that Roquan Smith probably would be requesting. We trade for him. And interesting, I talk about Deion Jones because, in my opinion, these guys are very, very similar linebackers. I think Roquan Smith is a little bit better than Deion Jones, but if you look at the numbers over their seasons combined, Deion Jones may be better as a coverage corner. Um, and Roquan Smith might be better, you know, filling the gaps and with his instincts of getting back in the backfield making plays. But both of these guys are very talented. They're not that big. Both of them about 6'1". Roquan Smith about 229. Deion Jones about 220. Deion Jones have 11 interceptions, 5 return for touchdowns. Roquan Smith have um, 5 interceptions and 1 return for a touchdown. He has 8.5 sacks. Deion Jones have 8.5 sacks over his 6-year period. Roquan Smith had about 14 sacks. So, like I said, Roquan Smith could probably a little bit better linebacker. Is a whole lot younger. May even fit better in the DP schemes that Deion Jones seemed to not fit as well last year. But we do have to give Deion Jones a little break because, of course, he was playing with a shoulder injury. We know this because he had to have off end end the season surgery on his shoulder. That's why he's on the pup list right now. So those just things to consider by Deion Jones. He still had 130 some tackles last year. So Roquan Smith had about 160 something. So like I said, he's an outstanding linebacker. But I think the Falcons would just be adding talent to that linebacker room. It's really not a need for those guys. If they was to go out and get Roquan Smith, of course, you know they did invest in the linebacker position in the draft. They brought and this would be Michael Walker actually first year starting at linebacker. So the question would be, if you was to go get somebody like Roquan Smith and bring him in, um, would that actually help the Falcons defense? The answer is yes. Um, but is that the biggest need that the Falcons need? And a lot of people would say no. A lot of people would say, hey, the biggest need probably is on the offensive line. We got to get our running game going. We got to be able to protect the passer, things like that. So um, it's just things to consider about bringing somebody like a Roquan Smith. I think the Falcons could afford him if they bring him in. Of course, you know we have a lot of um, calories, space, salary cap space next year to bring in or somebody like a Roquan Smith. Like I said, we probably need to invest in some offensive linemen. Um, Probably go get another target for for our quarterbacks, and of course we got to play Christian Lindstrom, we got to play AJ Terrell here soon. So things to look about trying to manage the salary cap, and we don't want to put ourselves back in the situation where we was paying some of the wrong guys. We want to make sure we utilize that salary cap wisely to build on both sides of the ball. Um, but a guy like Roquan Smith, I'm not saying that we should not go trade for him, because if they would, I'll be like, let's do it. I mean, like I said, he's a great player. Bring it in. I just don't think it's a need for the Atlanta Falcons to bring somebody like Roquan Smith in. It'll just be a luxury trade. Um, and it, like I said, it'll be a good story. Guy played for Georgia, come back home, one of the best linebackers in the NFL. So, but at the end of the day, I think the Chicago Bears are going to come up with a agreement with Roquan Smith, because they do not want to leave this guy to leave. He's probably one of the best players on the team. So, like I said, it's just a rumor, but we had to talk about it because they definitely threw the Falcons in the mix. The next thing we'll talk about is the depth chart that the Atlanta Falcons put out today. Of course, everybody was looking at it because probably the receiver position. They had Drake London at fifth on the depth chart. That's something I think Arthur Smith loves to do to the rookies, to let them know that they have to earn their stripes. They're not just going to be put in as the number one guy. I did the same thing to Kyle Pitts last year. You look at the depth chart, no rookies are on the is starting right now, so it's not a surprise. It's just kind of interesting he put him fifth on the depth chart, but at the same time, we know Drake London definitely was not brought here at the number 8th overall pick to be fifth on the depth chart. According to what we've seen, my time when I was at training camp and what we've been seeing on film, he definitely is not fifth on the depth chart, but um, it's just name on paper, guys. You know this guy is definitely going to be out there with the ones on Friday against the reps in, getting that experience, going up against number one cornerbacks, because that's what he needs. So a couple more guys. That was Taquan Graham, second year guy, is actually in the starting lineup with Jake Grady Jarrett and Anthony Rush. Our linebackers: Rashawn Evans, Michael Walker, um, Carter, and Okendeji. Those guys definitely line up the linebacker position. Our secondary is not a surprise: Hayward, Terrell, Hawkins, and um, Richard Grant. And then what is interesting though, they got Cornell Armstrong as our nickel corner, starting as our nickel corner, vice either Mike Ford or Isaiah Oliver. So that is interesting to see how Cornell Strong actually leapfrog both of those guys. And then at our offensive lineman positions, of course, Elijah Wilkins is starting at left guard. That's not a surprise. It's also not a surprise that they did not name a center. It's going to either be Drew Dahlman or Matt Hennessy. The other linemen are who's been there the whole Matthews, Lindstrom, and McGarry. So, like I said, no surprises too much for the depth chart. It's going to be interesting to see um, what these guys do. I'm excited to see when these guys get out there in the field. We did hear from the coach today. He liked what he's seen. These guys continue to impress him in practice. But I think by now, I think Arthur Smith ready to see these guys against somebody else to see what they really could do. Um, Quarterback Marcus Mariota talked about just the chemistry with the young guys, making sure that by the time they get to game one against the Aints, everybody's going to be ready. His chemistry with his receiver core is getting better and better each day. The idea is when you do preseason to try to play mistake-free football, not to let you beat yourself, let the other team beat you. We also heard from Elijah Wilkinson, playing that new role as left guard. I think it's going to be a little different to him than it was for Jalen Mayfield, because he's been in the NFL for a while. So I think he's learning, getting the rhythm at playing at left guard, because it is a new position for him. Um, learning the plays, learning the commands, learning the calls on the lines, understand the combo blocks and things like that. That's the biggest thing for somebody like Elijah Wilkinson. But whatever he's doing, it's the coach likes it because he has not been switched out that started role since probably the second day of training camp. And then last but not least, we heard from Drew Dahlman. Like I said, still he's feeling better the second year and this offense, switching in and out with Matt Hennessy, learning how to make sure he make all the right correct calls and things, and learning the different lineups that he's going to be in. At this point in time, who's on his left, on his right, has not changed that much. I think the biggest adjustment is going to be for Lindstrom and Wilkerson. Once they end up, who actually going to be that center. So, guys, that's all I have today. Like I said, guys, I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do. We got a couple of more days before they actually lock it up and see these guys play in Detroit. Tomorrow will probably be another padded day. Then I think Thursday is gonna be, of course, the travel day for these guys. Get ready to go down there and hit somebody. So that's all I have. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, all those good things. Protect the team and stay healthy. This is your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. Peace.